morning, Gallup School. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Angie. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would everyone please remain standing for a moment of silence?
Good morning, Colonel. Would everyone please raise their right hand and repeat the bark pledge with us?
I promise to be accepting, responsible, and kind.
Everyone can now be seated. Let's go over to our weather center. What's going on outside today, Wyatt?
Good morning, everyone. Here's today's weather. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, Wyatt. It is now time for our morning announcements. School store is open this week. Our all-school meeting is hosted by the 2nd grade is on February 22nd, and the Invention Convention is on February 26th. I can't wait to see what inventions our 4th through 6th grade friends have come up with this year. Here's today's lunch menu.
This month we're talking about risk-taking, which is sharing ideas we are unsure of, asking questions and attempting to do and learn new things. Today we're going to listen to our 6th grade friends, Madison and Evelyn, interview Dr. Austen. This is a big risk since the students have to come up with their own questions. Let's take a look.
So, I understand you two are up for a risk-taking challenge. Is that true? Are you risk-takers by nature?
Yeah.
Like just in general, are you up for taking risks and that kind of person? Yeah? Cool. Me too, pretty much. So the risk that I thought we could do this month to celebrate risk-taking is not come, usually I'll send the interviewees questions ahead of time, and that gives you a chance to prepare and me a chance to prepare. So I thought this month we could just jump in and we could all take a risk together. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to come up with some of your questions. Obviously, I won't know what they are, so I won't be able to prepare either. And then we can just have an interview sort of off the cuff. So I'll give you a minute to come up with some questions, however many you want, that are related to risk-taking here in school. Or maybe just in life, we don't even limit it to school. Hi, who would like to go first? You're going to take it.
Okay. Do you think
The one who's giggling the least, right? Uh-oh, now we started a giggling fest.
Why is making mistakes important when it comes to risk?
Say that again?
Why is making mistakes important when it comes to risk?
Good question. Well, because a lot of real in-depth learning really requires you to make a few mistakes along the way. And so if you don't sort of push your learning and try new things, right, then you'll never make a mistake. And often we can learn a lot through our mistakes, right? I have a poster over there on my wall that says, "Failure is an opportunity to begin again with more knowledge." So each time you make a mistake, you sort of learn something from that mistake, and it gives you a chance rather to correct it, right? I think a good example of that is with math. So when you make mistakes and you learn a little bit about why you made the mistake, it really gives you sort of a heightened sense of knowledge, and it'll avoid you making those mistakes in the future. So I think they're very connected. That and learning how to not be afraid you're going to make a mistake is really just a lot about trying new things and knowing that we all make mistakes. good to sort of have that attitude shift to learn that part of learning is mistakes.
Do you think students should take more risks in school?
I do, which is why I think having a month devoted to its theme is important. I was in a classroom the other day and they were discussing something called the power of not yet, which kind of goes along with what I was just talking about, that learning is a journey, and so we don't sort of come into this world or come into this school each day knowing all that we're going to know, right? It's a journey. Each day, hopefully we'll learn at least one new thing, kind of makes life exciting, right? And often we learn many new things. But the power of not yet is sort of embracing that I don't know everything yet, but it's possible. It's within my reach if I just keep being curious and keep putting forth good effort. It's all possible. All new learning is possible.
What examples of risks What examples of risk taking have you seen at this stage?
Well, the invention convention is a good one, right? Because you're taking an ultimate risk, coming up with something completely new and giving it a try. It's funny, I just spoke with Mrs. Evans this morning because I was having donuts with some of my friends who won the donut reward, and a 4th grade student was talking about learning how to play the recorder for the first time in 4th grade. And so I thought that would be fun to sort of showcase at our all-school meeting, because that's an example of risk-taking, right? Any type of learning like that, you're ultimately taking some sort of risk. When you first tried the recorder, do you remember what that was like? Yeah, any type of new instrument, when you first started, you can barely make a sound, and if you do, it's probably not very pleasant, right? And here they are, these 4th graders know how to play one, and now they're learning their 2nd song, so that's a really good example of taking risk. But I see risk-taking, in answer to your question, I see risk-taking every day, throughout the day, because anytime I walk into a classroom, any type of new learning is really taking a risk, right? So you really are doing it all day long. Just kind of becoming more aware of it and more familiar with it and enjoying that feeling, I think the more it'll prepare you for future learning.
Do you think students should take risks by going to band or chorus?
Yes, and we just gave an example of that, right? Any type of playing a musical instrument or singing well takes lots of practice. Do you agree? Lots of practice. You do both? Okay, so you know. You do both too? Oh wow, that's super cool. So you don't just start off being a virtuoso, like a very talented musician or singer. Nobody does. They all practice. There's a school of thought that there's 10,000 hours of practice that goes into being really good at anything. Which one time I calculated it, and that's basically the time you start in kindergarten to the time you graduate elementary school. If you added up all that learning, it's approximately 10,000 hours of learning. But anyway, it shows you the tremendous amount of time that takes to become skilled at anything. So yeah, that's a really good example of practice. And there's something called deliberate practice that I learned about a few years ago that was really sort of an aha moment for me, in that each time you practice a skill like singing or playing an instrument, you're probably working on improving maybe one specific part of that skill, right? And that comes a lot with the support of your teacher saying, you know what, try that again, and this time, why don't you try this, right? And that's called deliberate practice. That's putting, not just, doing the same thing over and over again, which is kind of just repetitive practice, but deliberate is like having a focused practice. Like, okay, I'm going to try to sing that one more time, but I'm going to try to be a little more aware of my breathing or something like that.
What's the most important thing when it comes to taking risks?
What's the most important thing? I guess I would say trying to embrace that feeling. Like right before I sat down with your questions, which I had no idea what they would be, right? Before Mrs. Evans turned the tape back on, I had a little butterfly feeling, like, oh, I have no idea what to expect here. But knowing that that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Feel a little anxious sometimes when we're trying something new or learning something new, that's part of the process. So I think just learning to sort of enjoy that feeling and embrace that feeling and be comfortable with that feeling, and know that even if you make a mistake, like if I make a mistake and don't answer it right or lose my train of thought, it's not the end of the world, right? You'll forgive me.
What does risk-taking mean to you?
I think what I just said. I think it's that sort of learning how to manage that fear of the unknown, right? Adults often think of things like a lot of people don't like to get up in front of people and speak. Public speaking is a fear. Is that something you can relate to? No? Oh, good for you. You've had a lot of practice. Oh, okay, cool. So was that a skill that, you improved on over time? Feeling less anxious about that?
Yeah.
Okay. How about, are you comfortable public speaking?
Sort of, sometimes it's fine. See, this is fine for me, but if I had to go up on a stage with millions of people watching me, and then just by myself, I would freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are different types, and I agree, this is kind of more of a free exchange conversation, which, interestingly, I'm a little more comfortable with, rather than getting up in front of people. I used to really get very nervous having to speak in front of people. Although, years ago when I was in college, I did a little bit of acting, kind of like what you were just saying with the talent show, and I was never nervous doing that, because I was playing a character and not myself. But I think when we're being ourselves, it can be a little more sort of nerve-wracking, because you think people are going to judge you, or you might make a mistake or whatever. So yeah, I think just getting practice with that, if that's your fear, I just use that as an example. But just learning how to manage it, whatever it is that your fears are about taking risks. Some people don't like to try new foods, right? You're not a very adventurous eater, so maybe just once in a while, stepping a little bit outside of your comfort zone and learning that, hey, it's not so bad. When was the last time you ate something completely different? What'd you eat?
I had squid.
Oh, good for you. So calamari, or? Okay, what was it, fried, or?
No.
Okay, what was it like?
It was the texture felt weird. It was what you said.
Yeah, did you like it? It doesn't sound like it, but you tried it, right? So now you can say, I tried it. How about you? What was something recently that you felt you were a little outside of your comfort zone due to the risk? Right now?
Well,
That's okay. If you think of it, let me know. Do either of you play sports?
I was basketball.
Okay. So every time you get on the court or on the field, you're taking a risk, right? Yeah.
Afraid that when I stop.
Right. And in particularly, if you're involved in a team sport, you might be afraid to let your team down. You've got a lot of people looking at you, some pressure. So, that definitely involves risk taking. But, just practicing those types of things helps you learn how to be a better risk taker. Any other questions?
There's someone that doesn't like me. There's someone that isn't a big fan of me. So I'm just trying to kill them, kind of makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's a total risk. That's called like a social risk, right? And I'm really glad you mentioned that because I think that can be really nerve-wracking and really takes practice and skill, like to sort of try something new socially. We all sort of are comfortable with hanging out with people who we're comfortable with and tend to like eat lunch with the same people every day or play at recess with the same people every day. Or so taking those social risks to try to spend time and learn about somebody that you might think you know, but you don't really know, or you might know that you don't know at all and you just want to get to know somebody different or have a different perspective, right? That is a really good example of risk taking. It's something that I think we should all practice a little bit more because I think it makes us better people to have a more sort of diverse friend group. Makes us sort of better, just have multiple perspectives in our life. Yeah. So that's a good example for adults too, who can practice more of that. So thank you. I learned a lot just having this conversation about learning about risk taking through your eyes, and thinking how we can apply that. Everybody at school can apply it. So I'm sure kids are going to learn, and adults. When we do these newscasts, I always want not only students to learn from them and sort of these interviews, but also our teachers and our staff members that watch these interviews to also learn about the topics that we're focused on. And I think everyone can learn from what you just shared today, so thank you. You're welcome. Have a great long weekend. Anybody doing anything fun?
I'm working on my gym.
Okay.
New Hampshire.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's fun. Well, enjoy your visit with your aunt and enjoy your tinkering with your invention. Making it the best it can be, because that's coming up 26th, right? Yeah, the 26th of February. Yeah,
It's like
the following week,
it's
you're
less than
right.
2
Not
weeks.
next week when we get back, but the following week. Yeah. Oh,
So next week is the last one.
yes. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Great interview. That's all for our program today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks everyone, have a great day.
Bye!